Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Y podcast. It's the podcast where me and Chris review the episode of Doctor Who. Oh, I love saying that. That's awesome. Today is going to be a quite weird one because we're going to do like a double bill. Because obviously, you may have noticed we didn't release an episode last week because we were making a film, and I also graduated from university, so it was quite a busy week.
It wasn't all bam. I was busy as well. I'm so not used to. If Russell, if you're watching this, I am so not used to Doctor Who being on that I made plans last Saturday.
We're going to start with While We're On, then we're going to get into the giggle. So everyone, sit back, get a cup of tea, and that's the British way, and enjoy. Okay, Chris. So. Yeah. Obviously, I've explained to you beforehand, and that we're going to kind of do this a little bit differently. Instead of us sitting through and reviewing the whole episode like we normally do, taking an whole hour long, we're going to split it into 3 segments. And these segments will be tone, music, and story. And then we'll give each of these segments a rating, and then the whole episode a rating. Oh, I hit my mic. The whole episode a rating. The first one is tone. May I say, Wild Blue Yonder is peak fiction. I really, really like this. I really, really like the tone. I think a lot of people didn't like the cutting back between like horror and comedy. Feeling that it was kind of jarring of sorts. I know Who culture. That's weird. Said it was they didn't like the changing of tone, where I think it worked because it added for me to the, because we knew nothing about this episode, so it added to like what's gonna happen, what's going on. Like it just felt weird. Like you go from the Don on the Doctor talking about, I don't know, Mavity, to fucking my arms are too long. It's like it felt like it felt like if Rebel Flesh and Midnight had a baby.
That's exactly what it is.
It felt like that, and I really
2 of my favorite episodes.
One of my favorite moments is in this episode is, some people don't like it, is the big motherfucking when the not things, which is what the villains of the story are called.
Oh yeah.
Turned into massive versions of Tennant and and
they kept growing.
And it was just like this like weird body horror thing where their eyes are too large. They don't know how to move their body parts properly. They're crawling across the floor. I really, really liked it. And for me, that's one thing that really worked with the tone, is that mixture of kind of silly campness and actual like scary concept. What I didn't like, however, is how quickly the ending of the episode came to because of the TARDIS.
I thought it was incredibly funny. I thought this was one of the funniest episodes in a long time. Now, Bam will tell you I have a very strange sense of humor, and it was very much my sense of humor that episode. I didn't think that the Isaac Newton stuff at the start was out of place tonally, because I mean I wasn't scared by like any of the stuff later on. So right the way through, I was like, this is just incredibly funny. I'm not trying to say I'm someone that just doesn't get scared. I was scared by midnight. That was creepy. But in this case, it was just a funny episode from start to finish. And I thought that when the climax came with, when they realized what the whole thing with time going really slowly and the robot, when all of that stuff was revealed, I felt like, okay, these are the moments that we sort of, this is why, David and Catherine are back, because you got the really silly stuff, just like the jokes and all that kind of stuff, that that's the stuff we remember, and then you got the climax, which is like, any Doctor Who episode needs an epic climax, and that was it. And I think I think this is the episode that I will go back to the most from these three specials, just because it feels so very kind of, you know, um, like it encapsulates so much of what series four was, that if I ever want to watch series four, I will just watch this instead, kind of thing. I did not feel that there was a tonal problem in the slightest. I would give the tone an 8 out of 10, but it's an hour, and normally this kind of an episode is 45 minutes, and while the tone works through that runtime, at the same time it was kind of going on a bit. I'll admit, like each individual scene is amazing, and the tone works consistently through it. It just goes on a bit long because it's a longer episode. And also the thing is, this is it. I mean, it is a new episode, but because it doesn't feel new, I want new things. This has been done before, so tonally speaking, the kind of nostalgia tone, even when done well, it's not something that I want something new. I want something new to look at.
I would give the tone a 7 out of 10. As I've said, liked it a lot. I liked how it felt like a creepy baby of Midnight and Rebel Flesh. I like how it felt. It felt Doctor Who. The one thing that I really love about this these specials is that they've all felt like Doctor Who. Again,
Yeah.
even at their worst, which would probably be Starbeast in my opinion.
Yeah.
It still felt like Doctor Who. And it's funny to me because one of the things that people's concern was, and I think your concern was as well, especially with the returning of so many people from Russell's era, like Russell, the producers, Murray Gold, there we go.
Murray Gold, yeah.
Tennant. It's kind of like, oh, it's just gonna be a big nostalgia act. It's just gonna be Russell's era again. And then I'm sitting there going, well, that's actually a good thing. It's Russell's era again. It's a little bit warming. It's a bit comforting. It feels like my childhood.
He did it right. He could have done it wrong, but he did it right.
And this thing was probably, well, it's not the scariest of the three specials. I'll tell you that for sure. Because one special the third special there's a scarier moment in this third special, but this was still scary. To some degree, because I can see a child, I can see 10-year-old me getting really scared about, like, what the fuck? If I see a doppelganger who looks kind of like me on the street, I'm gonna go, fuck, it's a not thing. It's like, it's like I'd be absolutely terrified. So tonally, I think 7 out of 10. Wild Yonder used a lot of new music compared to the Star Beast. Wild Yonder used a lot of it, and most of it did feel very generic, kind of just like orchestral music or like doom doom horror music. Because there was nothing that like it's done in the last episode. It uses the motif of Donna Noble, like it will use the motif of Donna Noble, and I think it's used the motif throughout the whole thing. But what it doesn't do, is it doesn't add anything new. There's no new music, and one of the things that I told Chris about when coming into the idea of Murray Gold returning, because I told Chris as soon as Russell was announced, I was like, Russell, everything he's worked on since Doctor Who, he's had Murray Gold on. So Murray Gold's returning with him, and I was correct. And I told him one of my favorite things that Murray's Gold has done for Russell is the soundtrack and the score for Years and Years.
That is amazing, to be fair.
I think that's the kind of
Years and Years as a whole. If you haven't seen Years and Years, you need to watch it. It is like one of the best shows ever written.
But Years and Years, the music for Years and Years is what I expected from Murray returning, and I expected more of that kind of like, because he used a bit more like digital sounds in that kind of soundtrack. But this, I feel like this should be kind of harkening back to like because I've been watching a bit of Classic Who because now it's all on iPlayer. I don't have to go to fucking BritBox.
Yeah.
So and then in the classic Doctor Who there was a lot of it was not orchestral. It was very experimental. The music in that. It was. And
just so that I can get a picture, and anyone who's watched Classic Who can also get a picture. Which era have you been watching the most? Or has it just been a mix?
It's the Doctor that has Adrid.
Peter Davison.
Yes, that's the one I've been watching the most.
Yeah, so that would be very kind of early 80s synth electronica kind of music. Yeah.
So Adrid's a piece of shit. Unlike him. Anyways, that's something else.
You can't say that. He died.
Fuck him. I think
his consciousness wasn't even saved. He died.
I think he was an annoying prick. I didn't like him. He was a know-it-all little baby bitch. Anyways, yeah. So to come back from that, been watching Classic Who. But yeah, Classic Who had a lot of synth, experimental sounds, things that very much could. It kind of, I feel like it kind of pushed, because it sounds like something that would be used nowadays. And I feel like it would have pushed the music and like score scene at that time. And I feel like there should be a little bit more of that in modern Who. And I really thought this would have been the episode where it has this. And it's not. The episode that has it is next episode. And I'll talk about it when we talk about next episode. But this episode, there was nothing to do with, like, there's nothing pushing the music envelope here. And that's why I gave it a bit of a 6 out of 10. It just felt generic. Well, just felt like what's his name? Murray was just sitting at home and it's like, yeah, I'll just write some 4 things. I'll make it in 5 minutes. Who cares?
Yeah. As I say, it feels very atmospheric to me. It feels very kind of Sega Nakanola, which, I mean, when I say Sega Nakanola, I mean like, when I remember, Bam, you were looking up his music on SoundCloud before Series 11 came out, and you were really looking forward to him composing for the show because it sounded really good, and that's kind of what I mean. Like, there's really good bits to it, but it is mostly focusing on the atmospheric side of things and very kind of generalized kind of music, which I'm not particularly a fan of. And I think for this episode, I give it a 5 because it works, but it's not Murray Gold. It's not quite him. It is him, obviously, but it's not quite what you go for his music, what you expect in a Doctor Who episode from him.
Wow, a 5 and a 6. We're going down 1 each time. Let's hope the story picks it back up. Let's hope the story picks it back up. Let's hope the story picks it back up. I think this is a really cool concept. So the story is this: the Doctor and Donna land on a random spaceship because Donna threw tea on the TARDIS, and the TARDIS went crazy. So they land on a spaceship after coming to Isaac Newton.
It was coffee. It was
Sorry,
coffee.
coffee. They land on a tree. The tree that Isaac Newton was sitting underneath, and cause Isaac Newton to say the word mavity and not gravity. But as they continue to try and fly and find a space to land and fix the TARDIS, they land on a spaceship. And the Doctor's like, well, I'm going to have the sonic screwdriver heal the TARDIS, and while we do that, let's look around. As they look around, they find out they're in a spaceship. It's quiet, it's eerie, there's no one there. TARDIS flies away because the HADS, which we have seen in Doctor Who before, but not being named, I don't think, which is the Hostile Action Displacement System.
I feel like I have heard that name before in Doctor
Who. Been used in the what was it? It's been used in the Matt Smith episode.
Yeah, I think so.
But yes, the Hostile Action Displacement System, the HADS. Basically, the TARDIS goes, there's danger here.
Yeah, you're right. Cold War. Matt Smith, Series 7.
Yeah. So the HADS, it's been used before, and it basically leaves. And the Doctor's like, well, I turned it off. But it's probably because the TARDIS is fixing itself, it's probably turned on again, you know? Which I think makes sense. It's resetting itself, you know, factory settings. So as that's happened, the doctor, and the doctor promises to Donna that he'll find her a way home because she's worried about Rose and how long will they wait for Donna before giving up, you know? So as it happens, they kind of leave, look around the spaceship, and the doctor's like, well, let's find out what's happened here. They look around and they find out that they're at the edge of the universe, where nothingness is. They're about 1 trillion light years away from Earth, which is insane. So if you've got the speed of light, it will take you 1 trillion years, which is fucking nuts. So they're at the edge of nothing. And the doctor's kind of like, well, I've never been here before. This is kind of spooky. We got to find a way out of here. The doctor's like, well, first of all, we're going to try to give the place some power. So they go to these like weird power unit battery things, and the doctor basically says, Donna, can you put order on the bottom shelf, the top shelf, and I'm going to go sort out the heating, basically. So he goes into the other place, sort out the heating. So you see the Donna and the doctor are split. They're doing their own separate things.
Yeah.
Eventually, the doctor comes into the room with Donna, and they start talking about wealth. They start talking about life, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And then you cut to the doctor fixing the heating thing, and Donna comes in and starts talking about Gallifrey and the TARDIS, and the doctor's like, oh, what would happen if we left the TARDIS alone? It would have a whole culture built around it, and that's what he was thinking if the TARDIS just landed on a random planet.
Yeah.
Then you realize these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's something eerie about it. It's cut to feel like there's some time has passed, but it hasn't. Sorry, you realize it's the same time when both of them, the Donna and the doctor, they walk into the room for each other. Donna and doctor says, "My arms are too long," which is like my new version of "Are you my mummy?"
Yeah.
My arms are too long. Are you my money? Hey, who turned out the lights? It's like
yeah.
That's
oh my goodness.
I love that. So and then they basically have these weird arms.
He's just stolen Stephen Moffat's joke.
Donna's arms too long, and the doctor's arms are fucking massive. And then they basically reveal themselves to be not things. They're things from non-existence. Because the doctor told Donna, basically science at this point for the human race can't explain nothingness. So to explain what nothing is to Donna, it will not make sense. But to him, nothingness is just another state of existence, it seems like. Yeah. And the not things come from the nothingness. Because they have heard and seen our universe full of war and fighting and pain and suffering, and they want to be a part of it. They want to have fun in this war and fighting and suffering. So they try to come into the ship, take control of it, and fly into the universe. But something happened. They can't do such a thing. The doctor tried to figure out why. After a bit of running and chasing and all of this yada yada yada, the doctor and Donna find out that the owner of the spaceship, this kind of horse race woman captain, basically jumped out the airlock 3 years prior to stop the not things from being able to travel into the universe. And there's this little tiny robot that we meet earlier on in the episode who is slowly and eventually walking towards the self-destruct button. Yeah. So basically everyone goes to run to stop the robot to the self-destruct button. The not things and Donna and the doctor are all doing it. The doctor not thing runs ahead of time. He turns into like a fucking dog and just runs away. Donna and the other Donna are fighting each other. And the doctor is just kind of like, wait. The TARDIS would know that the hostile action is gone and will come back, which is kind of Deus Ex Machina. I didn't like that as much.
It is kind of Deus Ex Machina.
I just didn't like that as much. But hey, they had a time limit. I knew it's like we got to wrap it up somehow. So the TARDIS comes flying down, playing Wild Yonder, which is a song about going to war. And as the doctor lands, the doctor has to choose between two of the Donnas. Basically, ask them a personal question about why is Mrs. Bean, an old teacher of Donna, why is the name Mrs. Bean funny? One donor says because it's the name of a vegetable given to a woman, and the other one says it just is, and that's the one the doctor chooses because it just is funny. But we eventually realize that's not Donna. That's the not thing. And Donna's outside the TARDIS screaming. The button's been pressed and the TARDIS is about to fucking explode. Not TARDIS, still the TARDIS. The spaceship's about to explode with Donna in it.
Yeah.
And eventually the doctor realizes because one of the not thing Donna's wrist is about like a centimeter. Just too long after doing a TARDIS scan. Boots that Donna out, brings the other Donna in, and they escape. Happy ever after. Have a little talk about the doctor's trauma. Eventually they land.
Have you seen the next episode? Are they happy ever after?
Well, who knows? And they land, and one thing they do is they see Wilf. Good old Wilf. Good old granddad. Bernard Cribbins. That was his last scene ever recorded. Rest in peace, Bernard Cribbins. 94 years old. 93.
Yeah.
One of those two.
That, yeah.
Long life. They were going to have him in the next episode, but obviously they couldn't, and I know which scenes they probably would have had him in. I can see it now after watching the episode. But he couldn't be in it because he passed away.
He was 93.
93. Rest in peace, Bernard Cribbins. But he basically tells the doctor 2 days ago, it's been how long they've been waiting. 2 days ago, something crazy went on, and everyone's going crazy. A plane crashes, everything flies about, and then we hear the dreaded
dum de dum dum de dum dum de dum dum de dum dum de dum. Yes,
because it has a little breaths now.
Yeah, as I said, I was watching this with my family, and we were always trying to guess, is this who are they talking to at this point? And I remember the second time that they encounter the new things, where it's the first time we're kind of thinking, we the audience as well are thinking, who is it here? Because they had been introduced by that point. And I was thinking, are they just talking to themselves, but like it's like a projection of them from another room, but it is actually them talking to each other to mess with them. It was wrong, but but I thought that was quite cool. I don't really know what to say. It's just really good. It's a really good story. It's really clever how the like all the stuff with the time going so slowly, like time stops and then it starts and it stops and it starts, and the robot, and I remember saying at the start when they were like, "Oh, the airlock opened 3 years ago and then it closed." I literally made the joke of, "Oh, someone committed suicide," and then they had this whole misdirect about the no things coming in at that point, only to then reveal that someone did commit suicide. Actually, but something I don't quite get, and maybe it's just because I've only watched it once. And it's been a week. But something I don't quite get is like the horse alien pilot woman was like committed suicide and was trying to intentionally confuse the no things with time slowing down. The TARDIS and we had the whole self-destruct thing so that the no things would die. Wouldn't the TARDIS just be like, "Oh, we need to leave straight away. I'm not going to put the hats on. I'm just gonna get us to fuck off straight away," because like because that that could have ruined the plan.
No,
that could have ruined the whole thing.
The whole thing is everything takes so it was slow for the TARDIS to realize it had to fuck off.
Okay, true.
It was the self-destruct is slow. It's slow for the not things to 100% assimilate someone. Stuff like that. So it's all back to slow reveals.
Yeah. But it's all the stuff about like the Deus Ex Machina, kind of thing. It's
the TARDIS is randomly come to save the day.
Yeah, the TARDIS is suddenly like, oh, the displacement is gone, and it's like, well, sorry, the hostile action is gone, and it's like, has it though? Like, this is the hostile action, surely.
The hostile action
The
actually entered the fucking TARDIS.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, what on earth? Like, it was the hostile action time going slow, but no, because the time going slow was what confused the TARDIS into what is the hostile action and what isn't the hostile action. And so it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite make sense.
Mm,
No, it doesn't. I mean, this is his first proper episode back for for Russell. Like he took the story of the Sabis from other people, so
yeah.
this is his first one, and it's like this is the best you can do. A Deus Ex Machina. Like you haven't written for Doctor Who for 15 years. Like what are you on?
I still think the This Is Action wasn't the biggest because I honestly think he probably would have written a different ending if it wasn't for the time constraints. If it was like a movie he was writing where he basically had no real major time constraint, other than he probably would have had a better ending. But because it's like you got to fit it into the fucking hour.
But I feel like when they were making these, when they were like filming them, I feel like they had 90 minutes, and I feel like it was. I feel like all of them have been shortened in the
Maybe
edit.
we think it has 90 minutes
But,
because we've been spoiled by having 90 minutes in the past.
I mean, it could just be time constraints from the writing side of things, but even so, um, yeah, that's what I think.
I'm giving the story of the start, not stop, he's fucking out. Giving the story of Wildly Yonder an 8 out of 10.
Interesting, interesting. Explain why.
I think it helps me knowing what the next episode is. So that's a bit of a cheat. Because at the time I thought it was one of my favorite ones, but after having a week to kind of get rid of that recency bias and to watch obviously the Giggle, um, this one is a lot I like about Doctor Who, but there's a lot of the things that I don't like about Davis's Doctor Who. That is in this. It's the rushing of the ending. And some things that I really didn't like about Davis's Doctor when I rewatched it is that a lot of the episodes felt like just rush the ending. It's like, and we're done. It felt like luck instead of the Doctor actually trying to actively like, oh shit, maybe the TARDIS is working again. Like think of an idea, a plan. It felt luck because if the TARDIS didn't do that, well, they'll be dead. No more series. Doctor Who's done.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't give it a higher rating. That's why I gave it an 8. It's the ending. It's the thing that kind of this is the thing you're left with. Like I think like I would have had it a 7 if it wasn't for Wilf. Wilf brought it back up to an 8.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Wilf.
Because when I saw that man, I was like,
I knew he was going to be in it because I was keeping up to date with the filming for quite some time.
Yeah, but I thought I was gonna be in the. I thought he was gonna be in the Giggle. That's what I thought.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't know which episode he was going to be in. So true.
Yeah, but I saw him and I was like,
when they were,
yes.
When I knew that they, I knew that when they were filming in Camden, he was there. He was spotted. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I know he's going to be in it somewhere. Oh, it's such a good scene as well. Like Russell could have easily put him in at the dinner table at the end of the Giggle, but with this scene,
well, that's what I think. That's what I think they were planning to do.
Yeah, but the fact that it's him on his own, and he's still very much himself as well. Like he was
the only one who waited 2 days.
The same man. Yeah, he's the only one that waited 2 days.
Like even in the episode, Donna says everyone would eventually give up and leave and have a new life, but Grandad will come every day and make sure that she would come back. He would believe, and he did. He for 2 days he kept coming back, and then he's like, "I told you the Doctor will be back to save us."
Yeah,
awesome. Loved it.
And he's clearly the same man as he was 10 years ago. 15 years ago. Sorry. He really is, and I feel like that the fact that it was him on his own, kind of proves that. If he was with the family, it would be like, oh yes, and Gramps, you doing all right there, Gramps. It'd be a bit, So I'm glad it was this particular scene that he had, and the fact that it was his last scene as well. To know that to see video proof on Unleashed that he was happy when he filmed his final scene.
Exactly.
It's incredible. He is a national treasure, and he will be remembered for decades and decades and decades, hopefully.
Rest in peace, Bernard Cribbins. 8 out of 10
Mm.
I have for the story. What about you, Chris?
7 out of 10.
Oh.
I really, for the same reasons. I'm not sure actually why you're giving it an 8, given what you've been saying, because I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of like a lot of the Stephen Moffat episodes. That like kind of like Rebel Flesh, Almost People, Crimson Horror, um, stuff like that, where it's like it's good, but it's not quite there. It's like it's. I mean, on the one hand, I really enjoy it, and definitely going to rewatch it and stuff like that. But on the other hand, it's like it's all right, but it's not quite good, if that makes sense. I enjoy it a lot, but it's not quite good. Mostly because of the ending. Not the Will scene, obviously, but the Deus Ex Machina um really kind of ruins it for me. Like the whole thing with the hats wasn't quite done right, and it really does lower it, unfortunately. And I feel like as well, obviously I've only watched it once, but when you watch something for the first time not knowing what's going to happen, there is the mystery aspect that's kind of keeping you hooked. And I feel like when that mystery is gone, which it is now, is it going to be as good second time round? And no, it's not going to be as good second time round, because it's kind of it's kind of playing off the kind of the mystery of why is time going slow? Why is there this alien horse pilot woman who has sorry, who has committed suicide? Why all this stuff? And also a lot of the horror factor. For a lot of people, it was it was a lot of very scary, apparently, very creepy. It wasn't so much for me, but I know that second time round, people will know what to expect the whole way through, and you've lost that entire mystery aspect to it. So, it's you can never really judge something solely based off your first experience with it. So having thought about it, knowing that it's not going to be as good second time round, it's a 7. That's what I think.
Now, time for an overall review rating of Wild Yonder. For me, overall, I'm giving Wild Yonder an 8 out of 10. For all the reasons we've explained. Music, or if the music was better, probably would have put it up more. Wilf gave it a bit of an up, but it went back down again because of the ending. And for me personally, the beginning not feeling as tonally in sync with the episode. So that is why I gave Wild Yonder an 8 out of 10. What about you, Chris? What'd you give it?
Well, because I didn't know that we were going to be splitting it up into different parts, the rating I had for it was only the story in the first place. So what I've done, and maybe I'll continue this in the future, maybe I won't. What I've done is I have taken my 3 scores and added them together and divided them by 3, and it has come out at 6.6. So I'm going to say 7 a 7 out of 10 overall.
So, out of 20, this has got a 15, which makes this a 7.5 out of 10 from the Dr. Y podcast, which is, I think, one above that last episode. I think last episode was a 6. If I recall correctly. It's been a week. But yes, that is what we think of Wild Yonder. And now it's finally time to talk about this week's episode. Because boys, we're getting into this. Boys, girls, eithers and neithers, whoever you are, whatever you are, whoever's listening, we are going into the final episode of the 5th anniversary.
Yes.
We're going into...
Whoever's listening, Illuminati.
We're going into the Giggle.
So something I felt with this episode was it felt incredibly short. When I was watching it, it didn't feel like an hour. Got to the sort of the bit at the end. The game is over, and they won, and they're sort of explaining how the show is going to work going forwards. And I'm thinking, oh, is there going to be like another villain in this episode? Because it only felt like it had been like half an hour at that point, and I'm like, no, it's like 50 minutes. Like, what the hell? It felt incredibly short in that regard, and yet it also felt like there were a lot of potential cliffhangers. Like if it had been like Flux, like the whole. I mean, the first one was because it was believed to be a cliffhanger when it was filmed. But the bit where the toy maker is dancing in the street around all the chaos, that bit I was like, that could have been a cliffhanger in of itself. And then like there was another bit. Certainly the bit with like the toy maker being like, I'm gonna make you like I'm gonna have another doctor play the final game. That I was like, yeah, that's a cliffhanger. That could have been a cliffhanger. And there was another one partway through. I forgot. I can't quite remember what it is. But I'm like, I was thinking there could have been a lot of cliffhangers. This could have been like a really cool 6-part series, like Flux was. Well, except cool, because Flux wasn't cool. And but at the same time, it did also feel really short. I noticed a couple of things actually in it that I'm like, oh, are the Cybermen going to turn up? Because I noticed on the doors of the unit base, it looked like there was like a Cyberman head in the door.
Interesting.
Like above, just like above the door. And there was a bit where the Doctor went outside, like towards the start, he went out. And as he walks back in, you can just see above the door frame what looks like a Cyberman head, like a classic Cyberman head. Thinking, oh, it's going to be the Cybermen. And then he's in the TARDIS later. And he probably was in probably was in the other 2 episodes as well, but I could just see this like there's a Cyberman eye in like the TARDIS console near the lights, kind of adjusting out the wall slightly, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be like if you go to 4953 on iPlayer, you'll see what I mean. You can just see like the kind of Cyberman eye, and I'm thinking, oh, the Cybermen are going to show up. So it felt incredibly strange. To watch, being like, oh, is this an incredibly short adventure followed by another incredibly short adventure in one episode, or are we coming up to a cliffhanger now, or what's actually happening? But it was an awful lot of fun.
What do you mean 3953?
4953
in the TARDIS?
In the TARDIS.
Yeah, I didn't see that. You're on crack.
Like I can send you a screenshot.
Well, to me, that's just you. Anyways, continue.
Unless I'm literally like imagining it.
Might be.
Um, it should be there. Do you see like right next to the time column on the right? In the screenshot I sent.
Nope.
You don't see it. Like literally,
Nope.
you've got the small circle and the bigger circle. Not the door, but like above the door.
Yeah, that's the screen.
Oh, that's the screen. Of course, it's the screen. It looks like a Cyberman eye, for goodness sake. So I'm there thinking, oh, the Cybermen are going to turn up. Or that's going to be like
No, it's like a
the
classic
villain
screen.
in the Christmas special.
Come on, Chris. You should know this. It's a screen.
Okay. But yeah, I was thinking, oh, it's going to be the Cybermen, or they're going to be in the Christmas special or something. But I must say, the tone, an awful lot of fun. This one was. It was just, yeah, it was fun from start to finish. I mean, I will say Russell has seriously pissed off the anti-vaxxers. I'll say that one for sure. Because there's this scene where they're making fun of them, but then also using the logic of anti-vaxxers to explain why they're wrong, with like all this stuff to do with spiking, like stuff in your body spiking, and it's like, hold on,
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in the story part.
Yeah. I know, but it's like, hold on, like you're literally using the logic, the argument of anti-vaxxers to explain why they're wrong, and it's like without actually proving them wrong. And it's like you keep on yeah. So I'm saying, for those people, Russell has really pissed them off. It's like you've just told us we're stupid without actually proving that we're stupid. But yeah, no. Other than that, it was incredibly fun, and it was, just to have like, the Celestial Toymaker playing all of these different games, like the corridor that, it's the same corridor each time you go through the door, and the whole dance number thing, and it's just fun. That's all I can say about the tone. It's fun. It never stops being fun, and it's consistent as well. It's not like it messes around or anything. It's just fun.
For me, the tone is perfect. This is the tone I need in Ncuti's era, because this tone is not only scary and terrifying at some points. The tone is
Really?
not with the dolls. Yes, that shit was scary.
No,
that shit was absolutely terrifying.
Wasn't.
Yes, it was. You had fucking Spooky Sue come up and like about to fucking eat Donna Noble. Jesus Christ! Like that was really insane. Funny. There's that.
That was funny.
Yeah, because you're a morbid person, Chris. but then there's that, and then there's the over the top Doctor Who campness of Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker, which perfect casting. Apparently, it was Phil Collinson's idea to bring in Neil Patrick Harris, because Davis didn't write it for Neil Patrick Harris, but then Collinson was like, this literally would fit Neil, and you've worked with him before on
It's a Sin.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, no.
You could call him up right now.
And then he gave Neil the script, and Neil read the script and was like, well, I guess we have to go to Wales.
yeah. And Russell's like panicking, like, is this, he doesn't need this. Is he going to like it? Is he going to want to do it?
But it's like, because apparently Neil's never seen Doctor Who before, which makes sense. He's American.
Really?
He's never seen Doctor Who before.
Like, so like, what was he watching to get a sense of Russell as a writer when he applied for It's a Sin?
He just actors applying for roles, and then he's like, oh, I like this guy.
But surely, I mean, he might have watched Years and Years, to be fair, because that was more recent. But like, surely you watch the previous work of the team that are making the show you're on. You
know, from the people we work with, some of them haven't watched our previous work.
True.
Some actors just don't watch previous work.
Yeah, but these actors are paid. These are like full-time actors. It's not like they've got another job like.
Because some people don't want. Because some people don't want to just do other people's things, and that's one thing I like about this. Because it was said in Unleashed that, and they acknowledged it, that the not the toy maker, the Celestial toy maker from the original story was a very racist character. In the sense that he
Yeah, I did notice a couple of things, and I was like, "Hold on, how did Russell get away with this?"
Like he's because in the original he's a white man or a white man portraying someone who is like the derogatory term celestial for Asian people, and that's why that's just depicted in his clothing as well, and they're like, well, at the time they probably didn't know or didn't care, but now we have to have a sense of caring about it, but Russell also wanted to keep the essence of that character the same, which is why the toy maker here is no longer called the Celestial toy maker, just a toy maker, and also why he uses accents. Because it's kind of a dickhead move from the toy maker to kind of just like, I'm taking the mick out of Americans, even though
and I'm taking
and Germans and the French,
and I'm taking the mick of the English people.
Yeah, as well, English accent wasn't the worst.
Is he? Yeah, but like remember, the character isn't English.
No. So he's taking the mick out of all accents.
That would also be how he's taking the mick.
So, but yeah, tonally, I think this is perfect. I think this is how I want my Doctor Who. If I describe to someone, if I was showing someone's going to be, what is Doctor Who like? Like, what is the vibe of Doctor Who?
Yeah,
I would show them this episode and go, this is this over the top craziness and stupid, silly funness is Doctor Who. Like, it's
I'm trying to think of another episode that would fit that.
This perfectly describes the feeling
or the closest.
Like, it's silly, it's over the top, it's dramatic, it's surprising at times. You're like, what the fuck? And it's charming, it's lovely, and sometimes it's gay as hell. But this show is wonderful, and it's something that you can't describe, and this episode describes that tonally very well, which is why I give the tone 9 out of 10. The only reason it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 is because I don't like what they did with Donna tonally, because there's a moment with Donna where she's just kind of standing there feeling like a Chibnall era fucking companion, just going, ooh, because at the beginning she's doing stuff, she's actively doing things, she helps figure something out at the beginning. She and Mel, they both help
there is that scene where all of the sort of friends of the Doctor are just standing in the background.
And I'm like, I didn't like that.
You're just expecting Ryan to be like,
hey,
oh
doctor,
no,
hey,
at some point.
Hey,
no,
Call of Duty.
not even.
Hey, doctor,
no,
not
even that. Just like, oh no.
Said the toy maker. It's like, how the fuck do you know his name?
Yeah, exactly. Doctor. And I got my stupid coat where I got my hands up here and not downwards.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm right. Like, it's just like, that's why I didn't give it a 10. It's just there's something the companions. But to speak on the companions before we go to anything else, I really like the reintroduction of Mel. Because I told you this is what they're going to do, Chris. The reason they had her is because her character has her character has nothing, so Russell can kind of make something for her. Right. Like with Sarah Jane, it was kind of like. They had this idea, like he obviously had this idea and took a bit of inspiration from A9 show,
and Big Finish.
Yeah, but then also it's like, we're gonna reinvent Sarah Jane, make her a journalist, make her this like person trying to look for monsters. Because I like how Davis is making sure that the companions, what they do in life, has been affected by the Doctor. He even does it with what's her name? The white-haired one. Who's kind of replaced Sarah Jane.
Kate.
No.
Joe Grant.
Yeah. Because they made her like a traveler of the world, experiencing different cultures, like as if she's traveling the universe. Like that's what they did with her. They've turned, like, he's turned as you know, Mel into someone who works at unit. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting. He gives people something they do after the doctor's life changed. The life with the doctor changes them, and I really like how Mel even says, "I have no body, I have no life. So what did I do? I accepted the job offer from Kate, and I'm working here as close as I would if I was with a doctor. I'm doing the what would a human doctor basically do? Probably work for unit because he's done it before. He's worked for unit before as a scientific advisor. So it's like I like that she's
number one.
Yeah, I was the first. But I like that she
actually technically he was the second, which someone did point out. Because Liz, who was the third Doctor's first companion, was scientific advisor for like 5 minutes before they were like, no, the white man should get the job instead.
But I like the tone. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10. What about you, Chris?
Yeah. I'd probably give it a 10 out of 10, to be honest. I was just thinking just now,
sorry, Chris. This is the first 10 out of 10 rate we've had ever. So, Bam, can you please play the Doctor Who fucking middle eighth here? Whoa! Chris is giving something a 10 out of 10. Way! Yeah. Okay, stop it.
Way!
Continue.
I don't feel like I have those problems that you have with the tone. I feel like the companions in that one scene probably would just be standing around, because what can they do in that situation? I've been thinking about, since you said like this is the episode I would show to people for tone. I would actually say that the closest to this, in terms of that remit of like showing someone the tone of Doctor Who, would be the 11th Hour, which is so vastly different. There's so much missing in that episode in terms of tone.
11th Hour doesn't have a strong enough twist for me.
No, it doesn't have a strong enough twist. It's not gay and it's not camp.
It's not camp enough. Because
it does have the Stephen Moffat wackiness to it.
Yeah, but the thing that this has is the wackiness that Stephen Moffat introduced. It does have the campness that Davis is kind of harkened for Doctor Who. It does even have the kind of like the attempted familial feel that Chibnall wanted for his Doctor Who run.
And also it's got what Sarah Jane Adventures had in terms of like the wider universe, all of the different characters, unit being like a really kind of big deal, like a emphasis placed on like the wider Doctor Who family kind of thing.
Because it brings back up
which Torchwood didn't really have, which is why I'm saying Sarah Jane specifically, with like the return of Joe Grant in that, and unit being a big deal.
It brings Mel back. It talks about all the companions that have died with the Doctor. I saw someone saying, "Oh no, they didn't mention Yaz because Yaz isn't dead. You fucking idiot." The whole point is bringing up the dead companions to traumatize the Doctor. You fucking dumbass. I hate Twitter.
No. They should have brought up Ryan, because Ryan just died of boredom.
I Chibnall needed to kill someone off, man.
He did.
Even
I feel like Doctor Who is
someone.
Well, no, Doctor Who is too scared to kill people off. Like in that story that the Toymaker told, I know I'm getting into the story now, but like in that story that he told, none of them actually died, because Doctor Who is too afraid of killing people off at this point.
Yeah, but then
I think that's wrong.
But Tomek is also making the fun of it. Well, that's all right, isn't it? It's like
yeah. Exactly. But it's like, when we were writing the film we're currently making, I'm not going to say anything about the plot, don't worry. But when we were writing the film, I was saying this needs stakes. And death in Doctor Who is what gives it stakes. It's what gives Doctor Who stakes. It raises the stakes. It's like, we actually could be losing something if we don't, if someone could die, that's a big deal. and we don't have that in Doctor Who at this point. In Muscle Zero before, it did feel like a character could die at any moment, but then once it got into like Stephen Moffat, not so much with. I mean, it was kind of Rory kind of dying all the time and coming back to life, but the way that Amy Rory were written out was fine. But when you get to like Clara and then Bill, it's like they're not dead,
but they're not. They're dead,
yeah,
but they're not.
It's like we killed them off. We killed her off, but she's not dead.
Clara's dead, like, but she's not. She's traveling around the whole universe with the Doctor. No, sorry, with the, whatever the fuck it is, the oil. No, that was whatever the fuck it was.
They're literally both the same story arc ending. It's like Clara's got her new like girlfriend Doctor type figure in.
Fucking what's her name?
In Ashilda, in Me, I Am Me, Me is Me, and then Bill has got her like girlfriend Doctor figure in Puddle Girl.
Fucking weird. Anyways, but
and then Chibnall didn't kill anyone off. He didn't even attempt to
not
kill
even Ryan's dad.
Oh no! Grace died. Or like we never met her. We didn't know anything about her. Like one episode.
I don't even know you're mentioning.
Yeah, great. Ryan's grandmother.
Anyways,
exactly.
Completely forgot she existed. Anyways, so far this is starting off good. A 9 out of 10. Oh my god, first 10 we've ever had. Let's move on, Chris, to the next part, which is the music. Now, Chris.
I could hear the music. I'll say that much. Even though I was watching it on TV, I could hear it.
When the Doctor's in the helicopter going to the unit tower, they play a remix of Shepherd's Boy.
Oh, how did I not notice that?
And my heart went, oh my god.
I love the Shepherd's Boy.
Oh my god. Capaldi. My heart actually, like, I want that man back.
Where's Peter Capaldi in all this?
Because that's his music.
Well, he's within David Tennant, of course.
But I'm like, Shepherd's Boy is what I associate with Capaldi, and every time I hear it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Capaldi. Yeah. But I wrote one thing that
hell of a bird.
So the episode, so we're gonna say that, but the music. There's one thing I really like about the music. Is what I was talking about, complaining about the last episode. Is how there was nothing new. They fixed it in this one because the Toymaker's theme is so.
It is a banger. It is a tune.
It's na 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 na. It's just.
That one. Sorry, yes, of course.
Yeah, and it's filled with like. And it feels like more of like the years and years feel of Murray Gold in that respect, and that's why I like it a lot, because it feels like old Who. It feels in place, but it feels like it's doing something different than last time. While he keeps a lot of more of the atmospheric sounds kind of stuff, it works a lot better, especially when they kind of lean into like the classical horror elements when it comes to like the Toymaker's realm and that kind of like the infinite doors, the creepy puppets, like that's the kind of stuff that they kind of lean into, and I'm absolutely loving it. The music is wonderful. I've absolutely loved the usage of Shepherd's Boy, the new Toymaker theme. They still use the remix of da na 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 na. And what they also do, Chris, is that they have a remix version of Unit Rocks, and I nearly lost my shit.
Way.
So when they're walking back to the unit, and Kate and all of them are walking, like it keeps going. It keeps going. Dun, 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 dun. And it's just about to do it, because I'm waiting for it to go but it doesn't do it yet. I'm like, come on, do it, you asshole, please. But they don't do it. They tease it like they're gonna use it later on in a different series. But they tease the unit theme. If you go, Chris, because you're not gonna hear your audio. But if you go to about where is it? You go to about. It's really only an episode, about like 7 minutes in, 7:15. Just listen to the music and listen to how it sounds. when they're walking back. They're like teasing it, but they don't play it fully.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't hear it, as you said.
And you go, and I was like, oh, no, they didn't do it. Yeah, I was like, oh.
No.
They tease it.
But what I love is that Russell knows Unit rocks. You know, like it was in Sarah Jane Adventures, but it wasn't in Chibnall's era. I remember we were talking about
that's the one thing I was like, it doesn't feel like Unit because it wasn't in Chibnall's. We're not going into the story and the character stuff, but I'm just going to really quickly say, can we talk about how much better Unit feels in this and all the Chibnall's era? Like this Unit feels like a big deal here.
Yeah.
Kate,
what's really
feels
cool
like a
here,
better character than she ever did in Time of the Doctor, bro. Like she feels so much better. She feels way more important here.
This is probably my favorite appearance from her. Like it took me a long time to warm to her in Stephen Moffat's era, and then I just hated her in Chibnall's era because it was genuinely bad.
She's just standing there.
Yeah. And but this is really good though. Like this is her.
We're gonna see the actresses like actually. We'll get this in the next section, but
yeah,
brother. But the music's great. I love it, and we have to talk about one bit of music, Chris. Sorry, one bit of music that's very important for this.
Yeah,
is the fucking Spice Girls. That's what I meant by over the top gayness.
Yeah. Well, what I think is really cool is like this is effectively the Rasputin scene from Power of the Doctor. Like, yeah, but it's effectively the same scene because it's just it brings kind
back
of the same point in the episode and
of Russell bringing in random bits of pop music. Because I remember in the first season when they go onto the spaceship before they meet Madam what's her name, the skin woman.
Cassandra.
Yeah. They play Britney Spears.
Yeah. And they also do another one as well in the same episode.
Like that, and because when I was hearing the Doctor speaking, I'm hearing nah, 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 nah. I'm like, oh, it's a ringtone. This is funny. But then I realized, wait, the music is getting louder. Oh my god, are we gonna get a Neil Patrick Harris dance scene to fucking Spice Girls? And this guy pops out and goes, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Everyone's going, what's happening? Shoot him. They're trying to shoot him. Flowers are going everywhere. He's just dancing I can do whatever I want. And then like these guys try to attack him. He turns them into fucking balloons. I'm like, what's going on here?
This is what Russell was trying to achieve with Voodoo Child in series 3. Like making a mockery of an invasion by having like a really kind of mid-noughties pop song right in the middle of it.
It feels. I love it.
So I think this is why we never should have left the noughties. Like this stuff is too good. This is gold.
It's and this is the thing. Like obviously you're gonna have to get the rights for that song.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously somewhere down the line, Russell must have went to the producers. We need this fucking song because it's in my script and I need it because this scene is gonna encapsulate how different of a toy maker this is, but how absolutely wonderfully terrifying he can still be. Because while he's dancing to the song, every one of the characters are absolutely losing their mind. The Doctor's scared shitless. Yeah. Like Kate's like,
but the Doctor is the only one who's actually he's actually like thinking in this scene. Everyone else is just like, we need to shoot him. He's already proven that your bullets are worthless. But we need to shoot him. like, dude.
I just love it, man. I absolutely love it. That was a great scene. Music for me, 10 out of 10. Play the middle 8. Whoa.
Hey.
What do you rate this, Chris?
I'm going to give it an 8. But to be fair, there was clearly a lot of music that I couldn't hear because I was watching it on TV. The one piece of music that you didn't talk about, which I thought you were going to talk about, which is why I kind of interrupted, and it wasn't the piece of music that I thought it was, when they're approaching the shop, no, when they're approaching the toy shop, about 20 minutes in, there's just just a banger plays. Like I literally just shouted tune just while watching it. It is so good. Like it's probably the best Murray Gold music I've heard. Like the best music from him, I think.
Because it felt like it's from different parts of the world, which makes sense for the toy maker's kind of character. But it also felt because there's one of the parts where it didn't feel as orchestral. It felt like he's experimenting with stuff. Oh
yeah, which is good because the orchestral stuff got old before, and now the classic user on iPlayer, everyone's going to be like, well, let's have more music of this style and let's have more music of this style from before.
They also play Shooty's new theme when Shooty returns turns up in the episode, by the way.
What spoilers? We haven't got into the story yet.
You would be watching this if you didn't watch the episode, and if you did watch,
no, of course,
if you didn't watch the episode, and you can just go watch the fucking episode, you dumb cunt.
Yeah, like watch it now. Like
pause this, watch it, come back.
We're giving you an out. We are giving you an out right here, right now.
Watch the retention drop at this part of the fucking podcast.
Oh my goodness. It's like, no, we didn't mean it. We didn't mean it. We were joking. But yeah, the music I did hear was just banger. You know, it was so good. But I did feel that it lacked music in a lot of places, which was probably me not hearing it because it was too quiet. Which isn't a Murray Gold problem. That would be a problem in the editing room from either the sound, the sound mixer or the actual final editor. Either way, that's a problem. But yeah, no, what I heard was really good, but I just feel like it could have been more. Which clearly there was, but I couldn't hear it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now, for music.
Oh my lord. Let's go next, Chris, into the next section, which will be story. So, story is we introduced to someone buying a toy called Stooky Bill from this kind of weird German salesman. Eventually that Stooky Bill is the toy of the man who invented TV. And he's going to use it to kind of show moving image. And the episode ends with it showing moving image and it's doing this weird laugh. Going into titles. Episode starts. We continue back from we ended last episode. Everything's going crazy. The doctor's going through. He sees the guy getting ready to be run over by a car. He stops and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" The guy goes, "Well, everyone thinks they're right. This is a public." It sounds like you, by the way. It's like, "This is a public rule. This is my rule because it's a public. I pay my taxes. He thinks he's right. I'm right." And it's like, and everyone's like, "What the hell is going on?" And the guy then he tries to run him over, so he leaves. And then we see the doctor bump into this dancing kind of showman, and it's a toy maker, and he's saying a French accent. He's in a French accent. Like, "Oh, sorry, monsieur, you want to dance? No?" Just like, fuck off. There's no idea who he is. The doctor goes to Donna and eventually gets stopped by Unit. Unit's like, "Doctor, you gotta come with us." Unit help the doctor. They go into the helicopter, fly to Unit Tower. Kate looks like she's about to punch this man. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I thought she was going to punch him.
But then she gives him a big hug, and I'm like, oh my god, thank you.
I thought watching it that I actually saw it in the trailer as a punch, but obviously not.
No, that's probably the punch in the first episode from.
Oh, of course, from Sylvia.
Yeah, but
yeah.
This episode's happening. They hug and they go into the Unit Tower base where basically the doctor's kind of told something's going on, and that's where we see Mel. Mel hands the doctor a chart, and the doctor's like, "Oh, Melanie," and it's like, "Hi," and they have a little hug, have a little exchange. It's cute.
I just want to say, Bam, this won't mean anything to anyone else except for you and Jonah. But the way they've set up Unit in this is just so perfect for what we have planned.
So when it comes to characterization, they're already trying to give the idea that Mel has nothing in the world, and I feel like she's gonna try she's looking for something. She's looking for a purpose, and Unit's her main purpose right now. But we do know that Shooty Gatwa's doctor will be meeting Mel again. So maybe they bring more of that up, more of that kind of dynamic. Like, well, maybe she tries to find her new home. Who fucking knows? Maybe she's fucking Ruby Sunday's birth mother. I don't fucking know. Because Ruby Sunday is an orphan. That's her main characterization, and we know so far.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
She's an orphan, kind of trying to look for her family. So there's this whole idea that, like, I'm getting with the idea, like, and you can see there's so much things that they set, that they tease for either a future seasonal arc or spin-off, and I'll talk about that in a second. But we have this whole thing where the doctor eventually Kate eventually explains that in everyone's brains they're going haywire because something, and they don't know what. It's a signal coming from a satellite, not just like, okay, whoa, show me this. She takes off this kind of like band, which kind of like makes her sane, and she basically turns into like a fucking racist and ableist piece of shit. She's like, I don't like fucking gingers, I don't like wheelchair people. She's like, Jesus Christ, relax. Like, but the way the actor for Kate does it shows that she's actually a really good actor, but was never given the time of day on the show to show it, you know, because she stands there, a close up on her face, and she's like, oh, happy, like, okay. And then it's like kind of like the Meep, but reversed. She's kind of like,
yeah. And she's just like, sorry.
And then she's talking, and she's like, oh, that's none of your business. You get into my personal space. It's none of your business, doctor. Oh, you're a fucking alien. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's like, you better say goodbye to your fucking planet. It's like, fucking hell.
It's like, go home, leave. You're not welcome here.
Like, she's like racist to the doctor. She's fucking, she hates the gingers. She's ableist, and she's like, and then eventually
like, I've seen you walking.
You don't need that chair. And it's just like,
like Ruth Madley's just like, it's fine. I'm getting paid. I've just got to get through it. Like this, this isn't affecting me.
This is acting. But they put the armband back on her, and when they put the armband back on her, she kind of comes down and apologizes to everyone because she realizes that what she said. So it shows that when they're in this state, they have consciousness how they were in this state. But the doctor eventually is like, well, what could this be? And eventually they kind of realize that there is a background layer or signal or video in the whole of the internet or TV in existence, which is
every screen.
Yeah, which is the Stooky Bill. And when they watch the video, you hear Stooky Bill laugh, go ha 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 ha. And what's one thing I love that Chibnall Era didn't do, and I always complain, is that Chibnall Era made the companions stupid. The companions always sat back and watched the doctor do things. So the doctor's literally confused, going, I don't know what this is. But the companions know what la 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 la.
No, that is not part of the melody.
Okay. The companions know what la 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 is, but the doctor doesn't, because the doctor's an alien. What is going
Bloody Peckham, man.
You leaving now?
Wait. Did Sir Topham twat by a car?
That guy's, I've never seen that guy ever again. I think he finally stopped his scam. Okay, they're leaving now. Okay, so I'll go back from the point where it's like, okay.
All night long.
The doctor and the companions are looking at the screens, and on every screen, as we said, there is a like background region, basically, but of Stooky Bill. And the doctor kind of goes and says, because the Stooky Bill video is playing this kind of like motif, no, And Mel mentions it sounds like a what you do when you kind of learn music, right? Because Donna's written it on a chart, going, "This is what the waves of the brain waves look like," and she goes, "Oh, it's la 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 la," and everyone goes, "Wait, I've heard that before. Where have I heard that before?" And I'm going, "I've heard that before."
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And everyone's going, "I've heard that before." So like, everyone knows what it is, but the Doctor doesn't know what it is because he's a fucking alien. So he's like,
"Whoa."
Not
Whoa,
like that.
That's prejudice.
No, but the Doctor doesn't know what it is because he's an alien. So he's sitting there going, "Can someone explain this to me?" And I like that. I like that they show that the Doctor isn't human. Whereas if this was Chibnall era, Chibnall would go, "Oh, that's a step, which you would use musically, la 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 la." Like, why is the Doctor explaining?
And Ryan's just like, I didn't learn music at school.
Yes, like Ryan's like,
we only learned about Rosa Parks. Yeah, I'm dyspraxic. I don't know anything about music. I only know about Rosa Parks.
It's like, okay, but it's like they know about this, so they're all figuring out what this is, and then they eventually figure out it's coming from the Stooky Bill thing. So the Doctor asks, "Hey, Ruth Smedley's character, can you? I keep forgetting her name, but can you find me? Can you find out Shirley Bingham? That's it. Thank you, Shirley. Can you find out when this thing was made? They figure out when it was made. They go back in time to find the toy maker in his shop. The toy maker's kind of like, "Oh, Doctor." He's in his German accent. It sounds like Barney Stinson when he's taking the piss out of
Doctor.
It sounds like Barney Stinson taking the mick out of Sven. Super collective, but Sven was Swedish, It's like, what?
No, but he thinks they're friends, doesn't he? But Barney thinks that
we're French. With our baguettes and
and it's just like, what is this conference call? There is no conference call here. It's like, no, this is what you do when you want to have a beer at work.
But it's so funny that like he's doing this German accent, he's juggling and throwing them, and then Patrick Harris revealed in Unleashed that some of those balls were CGI balls, which I didn't even know. So he was juggling the balls, throwing the Doctor kept catching them, and it was cool because
I knew that some of them were CGI.
It's cool because you know that because the toy maker can make his own matter. Basically, he's making his own world with his own rules. So
which is how I knew.
Which is why, because he keeps throwing the balls, and every time he keeps throwing the balls don't disappear from the ones he's juggling. Yeah, he's still juggling 3.
Yeah. Well, at first I thought he was juggling 5 and then 4 and then 3, and then I realized no, it's just 3.
Yeah, he just keeps throwing them and spawning another one, and I found that was cool. But eventually they have this like cool cut back between the like Tennant, the first Doctor, the first actor for the toy maker, and Patrick Harris to kind of show this is a legacy character. This is an old school villain.
Let's see if you've done your research. Who was the actor who played the toy maker before?
I don't remember his name. I think he begins with an R.
Michael Goff.
No, that's what I was thinking of Goff.
Now that I've said that, I'm terrified that that's wrong.
But there was definitely they had that element where they were like revealing that this is a legacy character, like this is an old school character, which interesting because I think they don't keep the lore from the what's the fucking audiobooks called again? Big Finish. Because the Doctors met the toy maker in the Big Finish audiobooks. The 12th Doctor actually met the toy maker in the Big Finish audiobooks. But they don't reference this because they said it's been a long time. One thing I do like, I forgot to mention just before this.
The 6th Doctor also was supposed to meet the toy maker.
A lot of them have.
I've got a copy of what was going to be the TV script.
Oh yeah, that was going to happen, and then the show cancelled.
Yeah.
But it's like there's so many of that. I like how they also earlier on in the episode when they're walking to the toy maker's office. I forgot to mention this. Donna kind of says, "Doctor, you should probably relax." And Doctor's like, "Well, I haven't done it so for a billion years."
Yeah.
So they reference.
It's like you don't notice it the first sight. It's just kind of they're just talking, and then it comes back later. It's really well done. But also
like how they reference.
And also in that scene when they're first like getting to that point where they stop, you can see the toy shop in the background, but you don't realize that's where they are until afterwards. So It's like two in one there.
I
You
do
don't realize
also
you don't know what they're talking about.
I do also like that there's it's a reference to Heaven Sent, how he was there. He's in the confession now for a billion years.
Uh,
Because the doctor literally says, "I'm a
al-
billion
although
years
although
old."
although technically he only lived like 2 weeks of that,
Yeah,
like
but he
in
feels a
actual
billion years
physical
old. He's
aging time.
experienced that.
Oh, true,
He's
true,
experienced a
yeah,
billion years in a confession dial. like,
true.
he's not gonna forget
True.
that. It's a billion years, so it's like a long. Like, so to the doctor, it's been a long time since he's seen
Yeah,
Donna. Um,
his fist must be really strong at this point. He literally spent like a billion years punching a wall. He's gonna be quite
but he kept
strong.
dying.
Yeah, but still.
But yes, we go back and then they're basically the toy maker's like, well, this is because he was juggling the balls and he's front saying, well, the first game that was ever played was playing with a ball.
Yeah.
And says, well, we're gonna play the second game ever invented, which is hide and seek, and he runs away and they kind of chase after
I
him.
wonder if that's true.
You can search it
I
up.
wonder if it. Yeah.
As I explained, but they run away, and as they run away, the doctor's kind of chasing after them, and this is when the doctor has one of the scenes where I'm like, this is what sets Tennant and Davis away from others, is how they can convey how serious an enemy is, while I feel like with Stephen Moffat and Matt Smith, they really showed how dangerous the Doctor can be. And with Capaldi, they showed how scary the Doctor can be, right? But with Tennant and Davis, Tennant's really good at showing how terrifying the Doctor finds an enemy to be. And it's the same with the writing that Davis puts in there, because there's a moment where Donna's stopping and going, "Who is this guy?" And the Doctor goes, "This guy defies all logic that I stand by. This guy is absolutely terrifying."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, they just made this guy seem like the biggest threat of all time.
Mm.
And I really like that they reference, I think they reference one audiobook, which is, or maybe a comic, with the law that the Doctor, when the Doctor first met the toy maker, which is when he was younger, like not Hartnell era, but like before that, when he was in Time Lord Academy. Because if I realize, he was kicked out of the Time Lord Academy because of doing something with the TARDIS and the toy. I can't remember specifically. But there is like lore there, like the Time Lord Academy Doctor, like that young.
Yeah.
And the toy makers, like that's like he's gone back that far. And referencing that far, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. Eventually they get separated, and Donna is locked in a room, and she sees Stooky Sue and the Stooky babies. And I'm like, a kid would find this terrifying. If I was a kid, yes, do you remember the dolls when they turned Amy and Rory into the dolls? I remember being a kid, and that was fucking awful. I was like, Jesus.
Oh no, okay, that was quite scary to be fair.
If you have a little dog going, oh, doing a little rhyme going, oh.
Why are people so scared of like puppets and stuff? I don't get it.
Because they shouldn't move, and they do. Because you don't see them being controlled by someone.
But like, I get it though. I know how they're moving. Like
yeah, but the idea is that they're doing that without the strings.
Yeah,
they're inanimate. Like they should be fucking on the fucking thing like that. But they're moving about.
I just find it really funny. I don't get it.
But then they climbed upon Donna and start trying to eat Donna. The babies are eating Donna. And they just whacks the fucking Stooky Sue's head, and then kicks it toward the babies, and they go, "Oh, mama!" They're like, "Mama's."
I thought they were going to turn around and go again. I
thought they were going to eat them. I thought they were going to eat their mother. Nah.
Oh my goodness!
I thought I would have done.
Yeah, that's what you would have done. That's what I would have done. You know me.
But then we found the doctors found the guy who bought Stooky Bill from the toy maker. He was turned into a puppet, and then you see the roof fall off, and the toy maker is literally controlling this guy, and it's terrifying. But eventually, the Doctor and Donna meet up, and they hug, and because it's the toy maker's domain, he randomly turns it into a showroom. And this is the cool part. The toy maker's sitting there.
And this is worldwide premiere.
Yeah, the toy maker's sitting there doing puppets, basically explain to Donna, "You're gonna die." because
what's happened since?
yeah, and you're gonna die because all of his companions fucking die. He explains that Amy died, and it was like Amy,
No,
Amy
not
Pond.
Nardo had the worst fate. I don't know why
No
he
one
didn't
remembers
mention
Nardo.
Nardo. Nardo is like was literally sent to was literally got stuck in that black hole place, that ship in the black hole, and has to spend eternity trying and failing to save those people. That they're never going to get saved because they're stuck in the black hole. But he's got to save them forever. You know, he's got to be in the process of saving them
But yeah,
forever.
the
So
Tomek
that is a fate
explains.
worse than death.
Tomek explains to Donna Noble that after leaving Donna Noble, the Doctor met Amy Pond, and he explains that Amy Pond and the Doctor went to retirement space, but Amy Pond was touched by a weeping angel, and she died. And the Doctor's like,
and where's Rory and all that? Like, for goodness sake,
but it's
Rory never gets.
He's talking about the female companions. Come on, Chris.
Okay, that's sexist.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
he's the toy maker. But he's talking about how Amy got touched by a weeping angel and died, and the Doctor's like, well, no, she died of old age. And he's and my favorite little joke about this whole scene is how they keep doing that, kind of like the Doctor's like, well, no, they're not dead. And then Neil Patrick Harris does a really over-top American accent and goes, well, that's all right, then. Kind of taking a piss. I'm like, oh, it's good she's not dead then, because she died of old age. That's all good. And then the Doctor's like, okay. Because then he does that the first time when the Doctor's like, well, she died of old age. And he goes, okay, then. This is Clara. Clara got killed by a bird. And the Doctor's like, well, I saved her consciousness at the last one. And he goes, well, that's all right, then.
Well, no, going back to the whole Amy and Rory thing, it's all right because Neil Gaiman gave them an iPhone that they can use to film stuff, even though they haven't got a charger or anything to charge it with.
What?
But Neil Gaiman gave them a mobile phone in the 1930s.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to continue. They talk about Bill and how the Doctor met Bill, and she was turned into a Cyberman. And the Doctor's like, well, yeah, she got turned into she got turned into a Cyberman, but like her consciousness survived. And the Doctor's like, well, that's all right then. It's like he's taking the mick out of it. And I like the cut back and forth. It's just really good. Eventually, the Doctor challenges the toy maker to a game. They play cards. The Doctor loses. That's when the Doctor kind of calls, well, if one person wins and I beat you before, well, you know what the rule is where people play games, and it's like, oh, best of 3.
That's so clever. I love how the Doctor's plan was literally that I cannot lose. Like I literally, there's no way that I can lose this game.
Yeah, he just said either I win. Yeah, I win, and he's gone.
I draw.
Yeah, if I win, I win, and if I lose, I'm just gonna say best of 3.
Yeah. It's so based.
But then the Toymaker's like, best of 3. How about 2023? And they basically go through the whole thing. This is when we have the scene where they go back to modern day. Number. We have the dance number, like to spice up your life by
spice up your life.
But the Spice Girls, anyways.
Sorry, I didn't actually say. The ball probably wasn't the first game ever invented. It was probably the dice, apparently.
Interesting. But yeah, they have this whole dance number, terrifying. Guys die.
Wait, and then they realize, how many teeth does this guy have?
Okay, guess you're focusing on the wrong thing. but we move on to the point where we see that the toy maker is controlling this laser that they use to shoot down the satellite that's giving the signal in everyone's brains, and he's threatening to kill everyone. But it's like, you're messing with me. This is me. This is our chance. And the toy maker's like, well, I want to play a game. Well, everyone has all these games. There's mind games. There's video games. There's all these games I can play with human race. Right? And Doctor's like, well, no. How about you join me and we play games for all eternity? The Time Lord and the toy maker. The toy maker says, fuck no. And then shoots the Doctor. And I'm like, we're like 3/4 in and they're already killing David. What's going on?
Mm.
And
Well,
they've
I
turned
was
into
thinking they're
about
not
it.
actually kinging him yet. This is like a fate laser or something.
No, he starts regenerating. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Then
oh.
he does. Yeah,
And then it's like, well, I'm guessing the rest of the episodes was shooting. I find that cool. That's awesome. But
yeah.
then the regeneration energy goes, and he's not regenerated.
He's like, hold on,
He's like,
what?
yeah,
What's
it's like
happening?
this feels different.
Mm.
And eventually revealed that the Doctor didn't regenerate. An ancient Time Lord myth is bi-generation, which is instead of your body being replaced by a new one, your body that's kind of like a mitosis, like a single form splitting apart.
Mm.
And what's funny
Yeah.
enough, it's not it. So what they established in the episode, it's that Tennant. It wasn't that Tennant didn't regenerate. It's that they did regenerate, but they also made another Tennant. So Ncuti is still the Doctor with all the history. Tennant's the new Doctor.
Yeah.
Because they mentioned that Tennant's the younger one later on in the episode.
Yeah.
So this new Tennant forms out of Ncuti because the Toymaker wanted to have a game with the next Doctor, not the current Doctor.
Yeah.
So this was the main thing in the leaks that people were mad about. When we talked about in the last review how there's something in the leaks that might be bad, it was the bi-generation idea.
Oh, I didn't realize that had been leaked.
That had been leaked. Yeah, that's what everyone was like.
I had no idea.
That's what everyone was angry about.
I knew that there was a leak that Ncuti was going to be in it with David as like a multi-Doctor story.
Well, lucky for
which
you,
I thought was fake.
You must have been surprised by this. Then you must have been like, "Whoa!"
But, yeah, I was. But the thing is, this is literally the idea that a YouTuber called Samuel Davis had a few years ago. He made like this concept of this is what I would do if I was showrunner, and it was two Doctors traveling in one TARDIS, and it was effectively this. And
Apparently,
Russell just stole it off him.
But apparently Russell's had this idea since like he left, like a year after he left. Like he's had this idea for a long time.
Really.
So apparently
That's convenient.
So apparently he's had this idea for a long time, but obviously he wasn't the showrunner, so he couldn't do it. And he's like, well, now is my perfect time. He's like, it's the anniversary.
Yeah.
We want to have a different way of showing the Doctor here. So why don't we bring the new Doctor? And it'll be really cool to have a scene, a few where the two Doctors are interacting, but it's not just a anniversary or like a children in need thing. Like it's an actual thing in the universe where that happens and it's canon. You know.
Yeah.
Basically, the Doctor kind of forms out of the other Doctor, and I love Ncuti's Doctor already. I love his energy.
I do.
He has he reminds me of young Matt Smith, but cool, not nerdy. It's like if Matt Smith was cool and not nerdy, that Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor.
Yeah, effectively.
That's what I feel. Because this dude is confident. This dude loves himself. This dude's like, I'm gorgeous. I love me. It's like this dude's like, I'm the best. It's like I love him. He's confident. He has the energy. He's cool.
There's something of Peter Capaldi in him as well that I can't quite put my finger on.
It's where later on when the both Doctors are being sad together. But basically they invoke a game. They are playing catch. They are on the same team. The Toymaker's on his own team, and they're just throwing it for a few minutes. It's showing how Ncuti's Doctor and Tennant's Doctor are pretty much the same person. So they're kind of acting the same way. They're working together, and eventually the Toymaker fumbles a catch. Now, what I thought was going to happen was I thought the Toymaker was going to be like, it didn't touch the ground and jumps off the catch. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Initially I did, but then I was like, that would be cheating, so you wouldn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For like a second, I was like, yeah, he's going to cheat.
Because it fell off, and I was like, oh, that's how they won the game. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like, well, no, he's going to jump for it and be like, it didn't touch the ground, and then like I don't know, the Doctor has to choose to kill him to get rid of it.
Like. Well, yeah, like perhaps if it was like he did jump off, but then he threw it back before he got back up to the platform level, and so just one of the Doctors just threw it, like while he wasn't looking, kind of thing.
Or like the Doctor cheated. I would have had it so the Doctor cheated. I don't know. Like
the Doctor can't cheat. That's kind of the point.
Well, no, the Doctor can cheat, but then he doesn't tell the Toymaker. Like he throws it. And the Toymaker thinks he throws it, goes to catch it, but then throws it.
Yeah.
like Tennant's going to throw it, like he had the ball, but
Like he's doing a
yeah,
dummy shot.
and he goes to catch it, but nothing's there, and then you see Shooty's Doctor throw it, and it goes no, I don't know,
Yeah,
something like that. But it's whatever. It's whatever.
yeah. It works.
It worked, and then the toy
Well,
maker turns into a 2D image.
although the camera angles aren't great because you never see the ball in the air. You either see someone throwing it or someone catching it. You never actually. It doesn't feel like it's traveling.
Yeah, I
The
think that's
shots
because they didn't want to. They didn't have
to.
to keep doing takes of people trying to catch it and jump.
Yeah.
But yeah, they eventually sort out the day, and we see Tennant talks about the edge of the unit tower. He's kind of sad. Shooter's off to kind of.
Oh, sorry. I'm just imagining someone getting hit by that ball just on the street below.
They're probably dead because people jumped out of the unit tower. People are dead, man.
Yeah.
No one's gonna care about a ball flying out, bro.
But like, it's gonna hit them on the head, and it's gonna really hurt because of how high up it is, like how far it's fallen.
It is what it is. Tennant's kind of sad by the edge of the unit tower. Shooty's Doctor kind of goes to help him, gives him a little hug, a kiss on the head. It's like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll sort it out. And they get back into the TARDIS. And this is when they suggest the idea that, well, which is which? What do we do now? Shooty's like, well, you came out of me. I regenerated, but you kind of spawned yourself, so we bi-generated. And that's when Donna comes and says, well, Doctor, maybe you retire, kind of just live a life. River goes, I don't know how to do that. And then Shooty goes, I have an idea. Oh no, wait. And I'm like, it makes sense. Because basically Shooty comes out, he gets a mallet from the fucking TARDIS. I don't know how he did that.
Yeah.
And basically hits a new TARDIS to give Tennant's Doctor.
Out of the TARDIS.
Because Tennant was sad that he would have to leave the TARDIS. He's like, I can't, it's my home. And
I was expecting Shooty to say, well, technically you're not leaving because we are the same guy. So maybe you won't feel lost because you'll still be connected to it through me, kind of thing. That's what I expected.
I thought Shooty was going to be like, you wished for him to be banished. My wish is going to be to give you a TARDIS. Because they both get a wish is what I thought was going to happen,
Yeah.
But no, I think they kind of like, well, we're in the Toymaker's domain still, so I can still do whatever I want. So he made another TARDIS, and they both travel out the universe. I liked this because I like the scene just before when they're in the TARDIS because they're talking together. They talk about the companions the Doctor I bit my own tongue. Sorry, the companions the Doctor legitimately loved, like not just as a friend but more. And the list goes: Sarah Jane, Rose, and his wife, obviously, fucking hell, River Song. Haha, Yaz doesn't count. Fuck you, bitches. The Doctor didn't love Yaz. Fuck you.
Even though there was a whole episode around the fact that he loved Yaz, she loved Yaz.
But I like the idea that the Doctor finally admits that he had romantic interest in Sarah Jane.
Yeah, like it's kind of like Sarah Jane's definitely like loved the Doctor that way, but yeah, it's so good to go. It is actually two-way.
Yeah, so he loved Sarah Jane. He loved Rose. That was the whole storyline: is them being in love, and that he still loves River, but he can't see River because their timelines are finally ended.
What about Romana though? Because I mean, I guess it was Tom Baker, falling in love with Lalla Ward, but still, there was definitely chemistry on screen. And if we're gonna start saying that the Doctor loved more and more people, then what about Romana, man? Like, they were clearly a couple. You've no idea who I'm talking about, do you?
And I don't think most of the people do, so that's why they didn't. That's why they didn't mention that name, Chris.
You need to watch City of Death. That's all I'm gonna say.
But yeah, I like that scene. It kind of removes the idea that the Doctor's asexual, and that's been lost for ages. The Doctor's been a sex fiend for like how many years now?
Since 2005.
Like, come on now, catch up.
Yeah.
But this is where we kind of harken the end of this New Who era and begin the era of, or whatever,
the new Who,
the Disney era, as some people are calling it, or Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, I reckon this is why it's going to be series one again because it's
Yeah, it's kind of a reboot.
season one. Because it's a reboot. It's a new Doctor in Shooty. Like Shooty is different from David,
and they seem to be like David's Doctor's gonna hold the weight of all this other past stuff, and Shooty's Doctor's gonna go out and do new shit.
Yeah.
Like, so he's gonna. So I feel like they're gonna kind of ignore some of the stuff that's been done to just do whatever they are. But there's two things that I was talking about. How like in the story they've kind of teased spin-offs and future storylines. The first spin-off that I feel like they could do is obviously a unit spin-off. Duh.
Yeah.
The second one is a spin-off with the Doctor, the Tenant Doctor, the 14th Doctor, and Donna. They could do something. They could have a little spin, like a little like special 2 episodes again. The Doctor's like bored. Let's go do something. Because he has his own TARDIS now, and he lives with the Nobles. I think they adopted him, so he's technically Donna's sister now. Sorry, Donna's brother. Yeah. And Wilf is his dad. Aww.
Yeah. Well, were they? Did they adopt him, or was that him being like, "Well, Donna and I share a brain, so does that make us brother and sister?" So I think was he being a bit silly?
I think they mentioned the like, because they mentioned the like, Sylvia's the evil stepmom.
I thought he was being silly about it. Like it wasn't official. It's just because they share a brain.
And Mad Auntie Mel.
Yeah, Mad Auntie.
But basically, he's like Donna's like a sister to him. And he's not a family now. He's got a niece in Rose. It's kind of interesting how like technically now he has a family with Rose, Donna, and the Nobles. But you know who they always miss out, and I hope she comes back somehow. Martha Jones needs retribution after what the fuck happened in Torchwood. She needs retribution.
But we cannot bring her back because the last time we saw her, she was with Mickey, and there's no way they're going to bring back Noel Clarke.
Just have Mickey. Just have her say it didn't work out. Simple. We broke
up. Or like we weren't actually a couple. He was just being really creepy that day.
Yeah, he was being weird on set. Sorry, I mean a character's being weird. Sorry, I meant
yes.
Like there's just a fourth wall break for a moment. But
like looks at the camera and winks.
The show ends with Shooty Gatwa's Doctor traveling the TARDIS. Shooty Gatwa's Doctor made sure that it was orange, which is what I like, by the way. Make sure it was orange, and you hear his theme playing in the background. He's got a jukebox in his tires, so maybe he likes the music. And this is what I was talking about, Chris. I feel like they're going to fill the TARDIS with more and more things to make it more homely and unique to Shooty's Doctor.
Yeah, they did get a prize each because David got his own TARDIS and Shooty got a jukebox.
But yeah, this is the end of New Who and the beginning of Disney Doctor Who. Which I really liked this episode. Just to go on the story, one thing that I really liked about the story is the weight they again give the Flux event.
Yeah,
because the Toymaker tells a story about like how all the companions died, and the last one he tells is the Flux event and how that affected the Doctor. And I like that, and it's just really nice to see Doctor Who. It feels high budget, but it also feels like it's like if they had a lot of money in 2008. You know, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Which is probably the way to go. And the Celestial Toymaker as well. It was very.
Well, no, he's just a toy maker.
Sorry, sorry. The Toymaker. He feels very naughties and the kind of like. We're making fun of prejudice, and that's prejudice in its own way, kind of naughties thing.
I like how
very Little Britain.
I like how the story, with the stuff about people going insane, is a kind of like a commentary on how everyone on Twitter thinks they're right.
Yeah.
And the Toymaker even says it. Nowadays, people will go on the internet, say their opinion, and if they're wrong, then you'll either be cancelled or something like that. And it's like, well, that's I like that social commentary. That was good. That was a good way to spin it. The Toymaker is literally calling all you Twitter dumbasses insane,
including us.
But there was that, and then there was the whole thing of like, I just like how he kept the toy maker a little bit racist, you know. That sounds weird, but he kept that essence of the character, not shying away from it, you know. Taking the mick out of the accents, stuff like that. And I really like just the introduction of Mel again, and the next time trailer for Christmas. That looked good as well. Nermian Bam will be giving the story a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
The reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is the one thing that because I personally like the bi-generation. I know some people on Twitter are not liking it. There's a guy on my timeline who's just hating it, saying this is the worst shit ever, and I'm like, I don't like it. I liked it because me and Chris have when we first met in college. One of the things that we did is to in our heads plan to our what would we do if we were running Doctor Who in a sense. And I mean, Chris always talked about the one thing that we wanted to make sure that Doctor Who had was rules. And once you establish the rules,
which is the one thing that Russell has said no to.
But like I've always said, once you establish the rules, then you can break them. And I feel like we've had this established rule on what regeneration is. Like, and and myself personally, I've come kind of tired of regeneration because it's just the same thing. It's just like, oh, new Doctor. Like when people are like, oh, we're gonna get the new Doctor. Well, I know it's shooty, so it's not surprising. Yeah. Like when I was younger and I didn't know Matt Smith was after David Tennant, that was the shock. I was like, who's next? Who's this guy? I don't like him. What's his head? He's got a big nose.
Really? Fuck? You didn't know it was going to be Matt Smith?
No, I didn't because I was
a confidential fanboy, and I watched that initial documentary about who's the next Doctor, and then like Doctor Who's top 10 greatest moments that they had like a couple of days later or something.
Because I just didn't know who that was, and like. When Jodie was revealed, the shock was, oh, it was a woman Doctor, but we still knew it was going to be her by the time the regeneration happened.
Yeah, it's annoying because you can't really hide it unless, I mean, I guess you could try and do a Christmas special to introduce the new Doctor, and it's completely filmed interior, like it's in studio.
Yeah, but they probably could because they probably could.
It would ruin it though.
No, but it could.
Like, I mean, you certainly couldn't do a series because you've got like how many episodes that have to be filmed completely inside, so no one works it out.
But they could do it because they did it because they kind of did it with Jodie and Tennant. But the only issue is that they announced that Tennant was returning beforehand. Like
he was in the previous episode,
but because no one knew that he was going to return in that episode. Like,
true, yeah.
But people only knew that he was coming back because they announced it. Like he's coming back. Davis is coming back because they wanted people to still watch Doctor Who because it was declining, But like, imagine in a world where
Sorry,
imagine a world where there was no announcement that him and Tate would come back. There was no announcement that Russell came back, and you're watching Power of the Doctor, and you're going, well, let's see who's next, and you see Tennant, you go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you get the news, Russell's coming back. What the fuck? Tate's coming back. What the fuck? It's like that's what it's missed. Like that's
and
the
like
stuff
Neil Patrick Harris is going to be in it. Like what?
like that's what Doctor Who seemingly missed for me. But then instead of doing the whole like that, they go like, okay, we've teased that Shooty's in it, but how? And people are just going to think, oh, she's going to regenerate and get like a 4-minute scene. But they go, no.
And the one time they could have done it in New Who is series 1. Because Russell wasn't supposed to say that Chris was leaving. And because it was just a one scene in the TARDIS with David, with the Christmas special film months later, they could have got. They didn't have to say that David was involved. Like they knew David was involved because he was like the narrator of a couple of documentaries at the time, and he was friends with Russell through Casanova. There was no reason for them to say, "Oh, David's the next Doctor" in series 1. They could have just had that scene and be like, "Oh my goodness, he's regenerating already," and that'd be it.
Like that's what I need from, and I like the idea of bi-generation. But one question that I will leave, and the reason that I'm also giving just a 9 out of 10, because one question is the bi-generated Doctor, not Shooty's one, Tennant's one, the one that came off The Offspring, does he have regenerations too, or is he like,
Yeah.
or is he like the parallel universe Doctor where he just has one life? Because that would be pretty sad if that Doctor has to watch the nobles die.
Yeah, true.
Because he just sit there, watch them die, and go, "Well, I got to go back to my TARDIS." Or is it like he? Because I saw a cool idea on the internet where instead of him regenerating forwards, he regenerates backwards.
Oh, so he becomes Jodie.
No, yeah, he'll become Jodie, and then he'll become Capaldi.
Why would you ever want to be Jodie Whittaker again?
No. Chris. Because imagine you regenerate backwards and you go back to being Tom Baker's, and then you become the curator. That's what I think. Because that would be really cool, and that would be the explanation of where the creator came from. Because it'll be this Doctor. That's what I think would be a cool idea.
And then that would also make sense because then we can say that the Valiard, who you probably don't know who that is, the Valiard is supposed to be this evil version, all of the evil parts of the Doctor between the 12th and 13th incarnation, and the Meta Crisis from before, the one that lives with Rose. He was literally like, he came out of the 12th, and he's going to get older, so he could look like the guy who plays the Valiard in years to come. So that could be where the Valiard comes from, and that would tie everything together quite nicely.
I like where Doctor Who's headed, and that next time trailer really, Shruti's Doctor seems so fucking gay.
Yeah.
I love it because you see him in the club just chilling and dancing at the beginning. I'm like, what the fuck?
In a kilt of all things.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on here? He's jumping across roofs.
I don't know if you know how kilts are supposed to be worn traditionally. You don't wear pants underneath. So this dude is a man in 2023 going to a nightclub effectively naked.
Absolutely think this is great. Dude's just chilling in the club, having a great time, bumping into fucking Ruby Sunday. Ruby Sunday's like, "Hey, what's you?" And then because I like the idea of like, because we've obviously it's been established in One Beyond by when the Doctor called Isaac Newton hot, that the Doctor's also interested in men as well, which also makes sense because the Ninth Doctor was kind of into Captain Jack. He made comments about it.
Kind of.
But it's like I see it. It makes sense. So I'll be interested in like if my view has always been that, you know, my view has always been that the Doctor has been committed to either his initial wife that he had, you know, that is Susan's grandmother, and then later to River Song. You know, he's committed to whoever he's married to. And then when he's not married to anyone, he messes about with anything that, you know, comes his way, that he takes his fancy. So this is perfectly fine in my opinion. Like, it's I wonder if it was like Shooter's Doctor's into guys, but then Ruby Sunday's into him.
Oh, that's a nice twist on it, because usually it's because the Doctor is an alien.
Or something like that.
The woman's like interested in him, but he's an alien.
Because I can either see that, or them two are just mates.
But if it is that first one, does that mean that Russell is being homophobic and saying that all gay people are aliens?
No, because Russell is also gay. I don't think he would be that self-destructive.
No. Maybe he's saying that all Welsh people are gay and all English people are straight.
Back to your joke on how you thought the Welsh accent was the gay accent. Yeah. Also, I like
that was true.
Also, I like that Shooty. I like that Shooty's using his natural like mixture of Scottish and African accent.
His accent is so beautiful. If he had to change it, I would literally.
I would be
on Twitter like roasting Russell for that. Like, but yeah, his accent is too good. You dirty pig.
We see that the Christmas episode has goblins. It has Ruby Sunday and the Doctor being.
It has another musical number.
Yeah, they do a song to the Goblin King. It looks cool. They seem to be having a different set of cameras. Because there's a lot harsher shadow. There's a lot shallower depth of field than they were in the specials. So I think the specials are probably still using the the Chibnall era cameras.
Yeah, probably.
And then now they've got the Disney money, so you get better cameras. Because or better lenses at least. Because it looks fucking great. And I absolutely love.
Or perhaps they spent the Disney money on the TARDIS interior for the specials, and now they've spent the money on the lenses to, because they try to. I said this in the previous one. I think they when you get money for a TV show, you try and keep the same budget for series 2 and then 3 and then 4, and you do that by wasting it effectively. You spend it on things you don't need to spend it on, just to say, "Oh, I still need the money." So that's probably what they've done.
Yeah, Chris. Now your turn to give this story a number out of 10.
I am going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's incredible. It's an incredible story. I was not expecting the bi generation, and all of the stuff to do with playing games was an awful lot of fun. The story was very clever to sort of be like, the Doctor finds out something's wrong, and UNIT have immediately found him, probably because they're keeping tabs on Wilf. But it's time to go back to the cottage now, Wilf. You're not supposed to be out after 4 p.m. You know that. But my point is like the sequence of events makes sense, which is really good. This is the kind of episode you have to sort of reverse engineer. Like when you know how it's going to end, the whole thing makes sense. Because like you know why once you understand like the motives of the toy maker, you know exactly why he's being a racist, and you know exactly why he's playing games. because he's like he's not like, obviously he's real, but he's not he's not a being that we've come across before in Doctor Who. He's almost like a god. He is powers beyond our recognition, and even the Doctor's recognition. He's like, he has no concept of good or bad. He just recognizes fun, and once you know that, it's like you completely understand his motive for everything that he's done so far. The stuff with Stooky, what was the guy called? The husband one called Stooky Bill. The thing with that was really clever. I didn't know about Stooky Bill, the story behind that, but I knew information about the technology behind TV, like when TV first started. And I don't know whether it was clear enough actually now that I think about it, or whether it was just because I knew. But the whole thing about like, it needs to be a moving image to prove that it's television, and the lights will burn people. So he needs a wooden toy that's going to catch fire to prove that the image is moving. Like that is such a clever concept. And it's not even a sci-fi concept. It's just a clever storytelling concept in general. It's like, the episode, the story is so good. Yeah.
Just over 2 hours. Jesus Christ, I have to edit this down a lot.
So well, I mean, it's effectively 2 reviews in one.
Yeah. So, Chris.
Yeah.
Out of 10, I'm gonna give this whole episode 9 out of 10.
Interesting.
What about you?
Hold on. I'm doing it as I did before by adding it all up. That's a 10, and an 8, and a 9. 27 divided by 3. 9 out of 10.
So that's 18 out of 20, which
Which is 9
eventually
out of 10.
makes this episode a 9 out of 10.
Whoa, who would have believed it?
Wow, it's almost like we both just said 9 out of 10, and it's also that just makes it 9 out of 10. Crazy.
And the majority of the individual ratings we had were 9 out of 10 anyway.
Exactly. Wow, what a return to form for Doctor Who. We're back.
Yeah, this is it. This
has been a fun 3 weeks, and I can't wait for the Christmas episode, and I can't wait for the next the 2-month long 8-episode seasons.
It's only a couple of weeks. It is literally like 2 more weeks.
Yeah, we're just gonna miss out a week, and then we do Doctor Who again.
And it feels like it's too soon.
Maybe
I genuinely feel that this special, the Giggle, was supposed to be on the 25th of November. Genuinely feel that, and I think they were supposed to be 90 minutes long.
So, thank you all for this. Well, no, I'm not going to go there yet. 1 second. So, one thing I just wanted to mention before we go there yet is, I was talking about how there's some spin-offs and some things that are teased. So obviously the unit show is what I feel like was being teased. A Doctor and Donna spin-off show is being teased, and I don't know if this is going to be teased as a spin-off or the next season's villain. But the Master.
Oh no, I think that's next season's or the Christmas special's villain.
The Christmas special is the Goblins.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. But because the toy maker talks about how in the Master's last moments, the toy maker gave him an offer, kind of like the trickster would.
Or the what's it called, the Black Guardian.
Yeah, so it gave the Master an offer to play a game. The Master lost the game, and that's when the toy maker stuck the Master in his tooth. And I did look at the image. Neil Patrick Harris has way too many teeth. It's actually freaky.
Yeah, I said that. Like you said I was being weird, but he has too many teeth. He
has a lot of teeth. I don't know if it's
that
CG
real or is that fake?
Or like an implant. But he has a lot of teeth.
Does he have that many teeth normally?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. Neil Patrick. There'll be a picture of him smiling somewhere. We see at the end. We see like someone with like red nail polish, like nail paint.
Yeah, well, nail polish.
Reaching for the gold tooth. I think that's Missy. I think we've got Michelle Gomez back.
Why would it be Missy?
Because it's a woman reaching for the masters. You
know who I think it is? I think we're not gonna know until we see someone pull out a golden tooth at some point in the series, and I don't think that this person is, obviously, because they mentioned, because there's two things that they're leading. They're bringing the Master, and they've been talking about someone called the Boss or the One Who Waits. Those are two things. Like,
oh, true, because we never had the reveal about the Star Beast, did we?
So I think they're two different characters. I think the overall run, the leader of that is the Boss or the One Who Waits, which is why it's called the One Who Waits. It's going to be the last big villain before Davis goes. And the next showrunner is our script editor I've been training for the last 5 years.
Scott Hancock, who's totally not related to the guy who messed up COVID.
Okay, now Chris. There's that, and then obviously the Master, because they pick up the tooth. And what I think it is because I don't know if you've seen anything about the leaks. Not the leaks, sorry. The set photos of Roger Apgar William.
No.
Oh my god, Chris, you've not kept up.
No.
So there's a character called Roger Apgar William, played by the actor Wait, what? Inorin Bernard. He is going to be encountering the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday's Doctor. Basically, there's going to be a political kind of underlaying storyline with a group called Albion, or a political party called Albion, and he's basically
that's going to be like UKIP or something, isn't it?
Basically, or like the Tories in a sense. So I'm
assuming. I get, yeah.
And he's going to be their kind of like spokesperson. And this whole.
It's Nigel Farage. It's Nigel Farage in Doctor Who.
But I think that's the Master.
Oh, you think that's like Howard Saxon?
Kinda, yeah. So I think he is good. Whoever took the
ring. The golden tooth. Where did the ring come from?
I feel like we're gonna see this whole political thing, and they're gonna reveal that like this person has the tooth, and then or like in the dude's office he has the tooth or something like that. But I feel like that dude is gonna be the Master, and he's gonna be like a season 3 enemy.
But whoever it is that picked it up must be someone who can fly in some form, because it was right on the edge of the roof, and the angle was
weird.
Yeah, which is why I think it's Missy, because she has the whole umbrella thing. She like guides down on her umbrella.
But it doesn't make sense for it to be Missy, man, because Missy's dead on the ship. If Missy comes back, Nardo has to come back.
Well, no, I'm saying like it's Missy before Series 10.
I don't like
you didn't think of that, did you?
I don't like that. I still don't like that.
Like, do we have to know when when the Master, like when each of the Master's appearances are supposed to be?
I want to, for the sake of my head, because obviously we know that this person's definitely after, or I would assume after Touch the One. But fuck, man. There's a lot of things that they're teasing, and I'm very interested in it. I love that Davis is adding these threads earlier on, because I know in a year's time we're gonna forget this scene ever happened. And it's gonna be a flashback, and we're both gonna go,
oh yeah,
oh my god, did you remember? I was like, it's gonna be fun.
That thing we spent an hour talking about.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're back in Doctor Who. Doctor Who feels back. We have the teasers, we have everything. 9 out of 10. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna do the outro.
Cool.
Thank you everyone for watching the Dr. White podcast. Please like the podcast, or give us a thumbs up, give us a rating on Spotify, because that will make the podcast get seen better. We already have a 5-star rating by one person. Thank you whoever did that. But get us some more. We will be returning. Well, maybe the 27th, which would be the Wednesday, obviously because of the Christmas episode.
Are you free on Christmas Day? Because I actually am free in the evening. I'm not doing anything on Christmas
Day. I live in a Muslim household.
Yeah, like my family are working, so we might as well just review it on Christmas Day at that point.
But I mean, the episode's coming out on the 27th.
Is it?
No, the podcast, Chris.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes.
Okay, now
I thought you meant recording it on the 27th.
No. The podcast's coming out on the 27th, and then obviously, hopefully, we get a release date for the
it's going to be Easter. You know it's going to be Easter.
But everyone, thank you for watching. We'll see you the week after. Oh no, we got multiple weeks. We got 1, 2,
like 2 gap weeks, and then
we'll see you on the 27th. Thank you guys for listening and watching. The video version is on Spotify. Yeah. Okay, bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Oh, I thought he was going to say this time. Okay. Jesus Christ.